Hello everyone! In today's video, I show you the process of creating a new product design. In today's video, we are going to create a drill. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Leave your like and comment here what you would like to see in the next videos. So, let's go to class. Let's start by adding a plan to add our reference image. I will start by creating the base of the model with a line down to the base where the cylindrical shape begins. Let's enable visualization in the viewports, and in rectangular, we will adjust its parameters following the reference. For the top part, I will add a line again, but we will use radial options. Since the shape is cylindrical, I will use 22 in thickness. Now, with the two objects isolated, I will adjust the thickness of the base. With the scale, we will adjust following the cylinder line as a reference. We convert it to editable poly, and with Boolean in the option the join objects, we'll select the cylinder to join the objects. Here, we see that the vertices are separated. We use targets welds to weld the vertices. Now, let's add two segments without one to create the shape loop correctly, and with the connect vertices, we will connect the points. I'm going to add symmetry to speed up the process. With the edge constraint, we will rotate these lines following the flow of the shape, the same in the fronts. I'm going to add one more loop to this part. Let's align it on the x-axis. Delete this back part and bring this vertex to the back. Here, I adjusted the size of the circle, and with the add loop regularizer, I returned the circular shape again. Let's add two loops and start creating the correct net outline. On the front side, just one loop, and we adjust the mesh. Here, I will increase the space between these vertices to create a more rounded effect for the bottom of the model. We'll add symmetry again, so the shape is the same of both sides, and convert it to editable poly. Now, let's delete these vertices from the bottom in front of the model. I'm going to add a support loop here in the center. And let's close the shapes from the back of the model by holding Shift and Scale. Finally, we'll give a cap, and we'll correctly complete the shape using the cut. To create this cut, we'll extrude and adjust the side of the cuts and the distance between the edges. Let's take advantage and apply a chamfer to these edges to hold in the shape. We'll do the same on the back of the model. On the fronts, we will repeat the process holding Shift and Scale to create this detail. I will apply a slightly larger chamfer, following your reference. Let's delete this loop that caused a problem and again complete the mesh with the cuts. We are going to apply a bevel to these edges to hold the shape. Let's adjust this edge. Now, at the bottom of the model, we add a loop to create a cut with the extrude as we did at the top. We adjusted the vertices a little better. We extrude it and then apply a chamfer to the edges. To close these lower parts, we hold Shift and with Scale we extrude the edges. To finish, we connect the vertices and also apply a chamfer to the bottom edge. I'm going to add a loop in the center of these details, and now with Open Subd, we see how the model is looking. We see that it needs more thickness. Let's adjust that. The same of the front part. Here, we'll check the shape. I'm going to leave the center edges a little closer to the corner ones. Once this is done, we see there an error has occurred in the mesh at the bottom. I will correct this later. Let's now continue growing the upper part a little. I release it could be a little bigger. Now with one line, let's create this button that the model has. Very simple, just creating an outline on the piece. Here, I'm going to use the fillets to soften this hard corner. We convert and apply the shell to add a thickness. Here, I will add the edit poly to add some edges, and we will select the edges to apply a chamfer. Returning to the piece, we will create the mesh correctly with the cuts. Once this is done, we will apply symmetry and enable the smooth modifier. To make the cuts and details of the model, we use the lines. Here, I will create the contour of this detail, and again with the fillets, we round this vertex, and the same on the back. For these three details, we use the rectangle. I will just create one and adjust it following the reference. The holding Shift will create the other two copies. I'm going to join them all together with attach and applying fillets to round the edges. With all the vertices selected, we'll go to Weld to join the closed vertices. We'll convert it to editable poly and add the shell modifier to give thickness to the details. We need it to go through the entire piece, as it will serve as a cutting piece. In the first line we created, we will also add thickness using the rectangle options. Again, make sure this piece goes through the entire model. I will create a copy in case there is a problem. We have a backup of the model. We add the Boolean modifier, and in the subtract option we select the details that serve as a cut. For the details on the fronts, we will create a line and adjust its thickness. I'm going to return the copy we made and separate the front parts, where we created the details. Let's now adjust the position of the cylinder and then cover it to editable poly. With the face selected, we hold down Ctrl and select the edge mode to select this entire loop. We apply a chamfer to make the edges round as in the reference. I will use collapse on the face. What we're going to do now is add some segments so that the shape follows the curvature of the model. I'm going to use FFD to create the curves, just rotating the points so that it crosses the mesh a little. Once this is done, add a smooth modifier and finally we will create the copies following the base shape of the details. I will use the pick object in rotation mode so that our cylindrical shape follows the axis of the base. First, let's align the base of the pivots in the center so the cylinder correctly follows the flow of the mesh. With the cylinder selected, we go to the pick and select the mesh. Now, we rotate to create the copies. I will create 23 copies since we already have one. This way the details will be distributed correctly. I will add a smooth modifier to the mesh and then isolate all the copies to join them into a single object with the attach. Now, with our base mesh, let's add the Boolean and use the subtract option so the details will be created correctly. Now let's create a hole where the drill bits will be placed in your drill. We'll select the center vertices and with Ctrl we switch to face mode. Let's add more faces to create the hole. With Ctrl-Shift-R, we transform this square mesh into a circle. With Shift, we scale the mesh, then extrude it inwards. Let's create a chamfer here on these edges to make a details in this hole. Now, let's go to the piece where the details have already been added. Let's delete the front part and fill in the shape correctly. At the base of the model, I will create this detail by holding Shift and reducing the scale of the face, and also leaving them a little more inwards to create a slight decline. I will do the same on the back. Now, let's model the drill bits. Let's create a line. It doesn't need to be very big. Inside, I will put the value of 20. Let's decrease it a little more and adjust the pivot in the center of the piece. I will create a copy. In this copy, we will erase the top and bottom sides. Let's select all the face and then deselect the 4 central face. With Ctrl-I, we invert the selection and delete this face. With Bridge, we create this face again. I will add 2 segments to this new face and use Scale to join this face. Once this is done, I'm going to add 5 segments on the sides like this. Now, let's join it with our first cylinder. I will delete the top face and use Snap to correctly align the objects. At the bottom, I will use Cut to create the cut where our drill ends. We'll delete this face. Now, we use Attach to join the objects. I will use Weld to weld the points. Now, let's fill this hole, making the transition smoothly. With target welds, we weld these points. Let's use a symmetry so that the back work the same as the front. Now, we'll select this part that we created this onion and create some copies upwards. Remember to select all vertices and apply welds to weld all points. Here at the top, I'm going to leave this triangular shape. Let's completely this face up here too. Here, we'll see that this part of the center needs to be corrected. I will use target weld to weld the vertices. And on the top edges, I will select them all and align them with the snap. Let's add the symmetry again, we'll see everything is working fine. Let's delete this bottom face and create a new one with shift right on the scale and collapse the last loop. I will apply a chamfer to the edge to hold in the shape. Now, to creating the effects, let's use the twist modifier and angle. We use 190, and in the twist axis, we changed it with the limit effects. We adjust it so that the twist only starts where the details begins. Here in angle, we can make the value harder so that the model's torsions become greater. Now, let's select the entire edge of the model so that it becomes harder. Let's select them all and apply a chamfer. I'm going to add the FFD to make the tip triangular again. We add the smoothing modifier and we see that there is a problem at the bottom. To fix it, just add a support loop and our drill is finished. Let's position it on the model now. We noticed that the holes was not round but flattened. Let's delete it and do it again. I'm going to isolate the part to make it easy to see. Let's select some faces and use Grow to select the entire part that needs to be deleted. Again with Ctrl-Shift-R to round the shape. We adjusted it so that it is correctly sized from the drill and fill the shape. Here the model is almost finished. Let's correct the error in the base of the model. I'm going to fix this by just selecting all this part that was wrong. Let's erase and bring the base part up. Finally, I just add the colors to the highlighted parts and the model is finished. I hope you like the contents. See you next time. Bye! subscribe to the channel, it's very important.